A U of M student is accused of voting in this year's election. Turns out he's not even a U.S. citizen, and there's no way to remove his vote.
Voting by non-Americans is extremely rare. That's what Michigan Secretary of State Jocelyn Benson said when a Chinese national was caught voting in the U.S. presidential election Sunday. He's voted, and his vote will count, and we have no idea how many more like him there are. The problem of aliens voting today on the 10th Man. A student at the University of Michigan, all this guy had to do was go to the polls and claim to be an American, and they let him vote, after proving who he was and proving he lives here. That's not the law, but those are the election rules. He was only caught because he felt bad and turned himself in. Think about that. How did he get this idea that they would let him vote? Simple. The election fraudsters probably sent a minor to test whether they could get away with it or not. When it worked, they started telling others, encouraging them to go vote.
Everybody here, they shoved in your face like, oh, are you voting? Are you voting? Vote early. Like, everybody needs to vote.
There's nothing in the voter rules to stop it. Jocelyn Benson certainly doesn't care. She's been accused of election misconduct before and beat the rap. She's calling this event an isolated case.
Secretary of State Jocelyn Benson saying in a statement, non-citizen voting is an extremely isolated and rare event.
She would, of course. It's her job to keep elections fair, and she's up for re-election. I wonder if the cheater voted for her. The News and other Democrats also say aliens voting is rare.
This happens very, very rarely.
That officials say is extremely rare.
This is a rare event.
But they also tell us the weekly attacks by bears and sharks in the news are rare. Then they tell us school shootings are common while ignoring the fact that there are 10 or 12 teen suicides every day, which they ignore. So the word rare has no meaning with the news or the Democrats. So let's us put a number on it. The presidential election in 2000 was decided by a margin of 537 votes in Florida, a swing state. Now, Michigan is a swing state, and anything over 537 aliens voting is not rare, it's a problem. When they say it's rare, it only means the aliens are not being caught and no one is looking for them. Fact. In 2016, prosecutor Robert Higdon prosecuted 19 aliens in a single election in a single county in North Carolina. The Washington Post called that prosecution a misuse of resources. Then they argue that people won't risk it because the penalties are too severe. 5 years in prison and $250,000 fine. Fact. Denzelo Page, an election worker who helped one of those aliens to register, was sentenced and fined all right. Her sentence was 2 months in prison and a $250 fine. And the fake news whined that they were sending a poor grandmother to jail. Even our courts seem determined to help aliens to vote. A judge just ruled that Virginia cannot throw out thousands of improper voter registrations of aliens because it's too close to the election and there might be a mistake. But the Chinese student was allowed to register and to vote on the very same day. Good luck auditing his application 6 months ahead of time. And the student only had to prove where he lived. Obviously, that doesn't prove you're a citizen. But states like Arizona and Kansas, which try to require proof of citizenship, are challenged by the courts and the League of Women Voters. These institutions insist that anyone who checks the box as a citizen should get to vote, because no one would lie about that. Isn't it odd? The Constitution says the states are in charge of their elections, which is why Colorado tried to take Trump off the ballot, according to the Democrats. But the same states don't have the authority to require proper ID, also according to the Democrats. There are no checks, no audits, and no punishment. Remember, every vote counts, but some of them should not.